concepts, how it works, and why it is important for the business analyst to understand that, because this is a key. No matter which industry, which domain you are working on, you need to understand the concept of project management, because you will be closely working with the project manager, and your whatever deliverables you are working on, your feedback is very much important, and every part of the project, every phase of the project, the business analyst is going to be providing the piece of information which is a key information for the project manager. Now, what are the things we are going to understand as part of this? This is just a very high level. I would say that, okay, it is just an overview of project management, what we are seeing it right now. But this is important to understand so that we understand how many phases are there, what exactly happened in that, how industry works. When I say industry, means any industry, not only IT. IT is also considered as a domain. But on the business side, no matter whether it is a construction business, telecom, retail, if there is a project, the life cycle will be exactly the way what we see it on the screen. So there is something called pre-pipeline and opportunity assessment. By the time the business analyst is added as part of the project, most of the time, I'm just using the term most of the time, not all of the time, these phases are already done, which is your opportunity assessment and your, so this is by the time you join, usually the team joins over here. So this is the place where the team is getting ready. Most of the places this is done at a very high level at the something called project sponsor. Project sponsor is the person who is going to fund for this project. Every organization have a fixed budget allocated to sub-unit or the sub-department, and that department is going to execute that project, and that project is going to have a project sponsor who is the decision maker that, okay, whether I should invest on this work or not. So by the time the business analyst joins over here, it's very less likely to happen. But there are cases where maybe you are in transition of this process, where you are in closing phase and you already got allocated to another project, another assignment, where the project is in pre-pipeline and opportunity assessment phase. So given that fact, there could be the possibility that you are assigned and you are working on this phase and supporting the sponsor to put together the details and make a very good business case so that he or she can get the buying of the other stakeholders to approve the fund. Now, what happens in the pre-pipeline? As it states, the pre-pipeline is the determined overall project goal to meet business need. Now, before you even step into the things, you need to understand what exactly is the goal, what you are trying to achieve, why you want to do something, what is the benefit you are going to get out of it. All these things are analyzed and the details are captured in a formal document. When I say a formal document, it's a documentation where you have, it has to be formalized. But if you ask me, is there any specific type of template? The answer would be no. There is no specific type of template. There could be the possibility that it is just a full page email which laid out each and every section of the analysis, the goals and why you want to do it, where the need is. All these things are laid out in an email. So there is no format for these type of communications and the data capturing to be translated into particular format. It happens the way you feel that it is a better way to capture the data, more organized way, this is done. Then you have the opportunity assessment. Opportunity assessment means based on this business need, this is an opportunity which the company is trying to get hold of it. Now this opportunity assessment to say that, see, there are multiple type of projects you can have. Either this is See, this is something nice to have. Okay, I'm just writing a short form. This is something must have. Must have could be a mandate you can think about. Mandate is your must have. Mandate means it's a legislation. If the company is not going to work on this and be compliant with it, there will be penalty. We have one of the auditor. These are the auditors. People checks to make sure that whether the processes and everything is in line according to the business norms or not. That's what the auditor does. Now, so the another option is your mandate. The third option could be something enhancement or the issue fix, for example. Not enhancement comes as a nice to have. The third one could be issue. The issue could be, issue can also have a life-threatening issue that, okay, the company cannot proceed if the issue is not fixed. Or further classification of issue could be that, okay, if this is fixed, it will save lot of money. That is the another side of it. So these are the different business needs we are talking about. These are the examples of business need. Depending upon that, which need we are trying to explore, we need to do the feasibility test. That whether the solution, the requirement we are trying to proceed with, it is feasible or not. If it is, what will be the complete scope? Once we have the scope, how much it is going to cost? So all these parameters needs to be considered, because you cannot simply just take a project and start working on it. We need to assess. Assess in the sense that maybe whether do we have a sufficient resource power available or not. Do we have a team who is technically and the business-wise so sound that they can handle the requirement? Then you could have that maybe do you have enough bandwidth for the software, or do you have enough software to support these type of enhancements? So there are multiple things, there are multiple parameters when we say do the feasibility test. It's not always do not always think from the IT perspective. Think from the business perspective also. Maybe something we are trying to say, the way we are trying to do it is not right. So running a business in the way we are trying to do it is not right. So that is the feasibility from the business side. At the same time, let's say we are trying to add one more table in the server and server have no storage. So that is the feasibility from the IT perspective. So your feasibility laid out everything from the business as well as IT perspective to define what can be done, what has to be done, and how it has to be done. Everything you look for every possible scenario and try to understand what are the areas which could be possibly impacted. Now, when you are done with that, then what happens? Now, this is the first stage, which is called as a gate review, where you are going to just look into it to see that whether gate review is nothing but it is a term where the fund review happens. This is fund review process. What does fund review mean? Fund review means that all the pre-pipeline and the opportunity assessment things are put together to showcase, to make a business case. The business case means that, okay, if we don't do this, what will happen? If we will do this, what will happen? That means someone is in interest of proceeding with it. That's where you go for the gate review. Gate review is nothing but it's a committee. It's a group of people who have the authority to give a go or a no-go decision, to say yes, you can proceed with the project, no, you cannot proceed with the project. Now, what exactly the expertise these people have? All the people from the gate review team, either they will be director, senior manager, all these type of people, and they are running a team size of people where the team is expert in business, team is expert in IT. There could be some module where the project is going to be impacted. So these are the folks who comes as a subject matter expert. When I say comes as a subject matter expert, don't think that they know in and out. No, not necessarily. They just hold that position where they have people who know in and out. So maybe the decision can be made upfront then and there, or the decision could be made maybe later on, depending upon the type of the project. So let's say the decision is made. If the decision is made, then that means the fund is provided. That if you are saying that it is going to cost $100, for example, that okay, $100 is approved. Or whether it is 100 million, depending upon the type and the productivity you are showcasing for the project, that is approved. Once the gate review is done and the fund gets the go-ahead, if this gets no over here, you see why you have a decision box. That means only when this is yes, you go next. This is yes, you go next. This is yes, you go next. If it is no, then it's a showstopper. That's it. You can't move further. If it is no, you can't move further. It's done. The project is closed and now you can't do anything. So it is very important that the fund review team understand the pros and a con, and that can be only provided when the opportunity assessment phase is successfully done, properly done. Once the gate review is done, then the project kickoff meeting. There is something called project kickoff meeting. Very important for you to understand these terms and the meaning of it, because these are the things. Usually for the business analyst, the questions are very generic, and that's where the questions are so generic that people don't know the answer of it. So they may say that, okay, walk us through the life cycle of the project which you have followed in any of your projects. So then what happens? That's here your team is decided. At the same time, the project manager will reach out to every area, every department to make sure that he has enough bandwidth to support this project from every area, every side of it. When I say enough bandwidth means, let's say you are executing the project, there multiple team is involved. If there is multiple team involved, then what happens? You need representation from each area. When you need representation from each area, that means there someone who has to reach out to the project the manager from each and every individual to say that, okay, here we are starting up the project and now we need someone to represent as part of this project team, because these people who are going to give you the requirement and work with you are the people who are operational people. Operational means who are dealing with the system on day-to-day basis. They are aggressively using the system, so they are the end users. So they are the people who will be nominated by the project manager that, okay, from my team you can work with XYZ, from the another manager will say you work with this person, he is very sound in the business side, will help you. So that's how you will get the allocation. Once the project manager have the allocation of those names, a formal meeting invitation goes out, copying the project sponsor, that is a formal kickoff meeting to rest of the team. Kickoff meeting is nothing but it's just to talk about that, okay, now this is the day we are starting with this project and we want you to participate in it. If there are any challenges, any issues, please escalate that to me. At the same time, what exactly the timeline we are looking for. So that is very much important in the initiation phase to know that. All the project team will provide all these details before the project moves on, and that will be all accumulated together, and this is where all these things are ready. Okay. Sometimes these two processes are very tied up together. It's just together. You can just think about it. When I say together means what we should reach out to all the different area, give them the requirement that, okay, this is what, see, your requirement is right now just a one-liner requirement or two-liner requirement. You don't have the full requirement. So given the point, you need to understand, if you need to find out how much time this project is going to take and how much fund you need it to do this project, that means you need to do the forecasting, something called forecasting. Okay. Forecast. You need to do it as part of opportunity assessments. So usually this is a very shaky area where this could be, these two things are together. And then you go for the gate review based on the forecast, because forecast to say each area is going to take this many number of hours, and you multiply by the rate each resource have. Every resource have some internal rate that okay, this person is $70, this person is $80. Every department have that kind of rate card. Project manager have access to that rate card. Project manager needs to calculate that depending upon each area would provide the hours, number of hours, and according to that you are going to take the estimate to say this is what it is going to cost. Okay, let me quickly take one hand. I see, yes, Ritu.
Yeah, Sushmita, there's only one doubt. You said the BA will come on board during the initiating session, right? And the next gate review is after that is where the kickoff meeting happens, which is before the planning. Am I right? Or like I'm just clarifying things.
No, when I say the kickoff meeting happens, that means kickoff meeting is happening over here before all these things happen.
Okay.
So kickoff meeting is over here. See, I explained you two scenarios. Either the kickoff is happening over here, or the kickoff is this is the combined process. So kickoff happened, the opportunity assessment was done, everyone provided the forecast, and according to that you take it to the gate review and then move on with the business project requirement, UAT requirement, and you proceed and start executing it. Another possible way is that as part of opportunity assessment, very high level offline project, there is no team right now at place.
Okay.
This is a very high level estimation which is done, which is called as planning estimation. Sometimes some projects are just chopped off just after the planning estimate. No one even knows. Okay. So that's why depending upon that how the project is, how company wants to proceed, you could be as a business analyst joining on, coming on board over here, or you could be coming on board over here. Okay. But this is the two area where you can come in on board.
Yeah, I get it now. It's clear. Thank you.
Got it? Okay. Yeah. So moving on. So once you are in the initiation phase, then you identify all the project related requirements with the help of stakeholder as well as your own analysis. Whatever direction you can do your own analysis, you do that. And then again, once you are done with all these business requirement, UX requirement and everything, then again, now you have some set of deliverables as part of this phase. Now based on the set of deliverables, you will have more precise idea how much this project will cost. See, this is your first level. This is your second level where you will know that, okay, right here you have one-liner requirement. Here when you did identified all the business requirement and everything, UAT requirement, that means you have gone to the next level of requirement where you have little more details of requirement. So here you are going to get the complete requirement and your user acceptance requirement, and according to that you are going to receive the estimates. Again, this is the revised estimate. These revised estimates may be 10% plus and minus expected from the number one estimate. So expected is that okay, you can go 10% plus and minus unless the requirement is completely upside down, what was here and what we are expecting over here. Once this is done, again we take it for the gate review, and this gate review is going to see the set of deliverables what we have produced, what is the quality of it. There are many people who are very process oriented, so they will review everything, and based on that they will make a decision that what is the next level of funding you need, and according to that the money will be released. If they do not like it and they don't see that much of value after looking at the detailed requirement, the project can be shut off. But if they still see that, you will go with the gate review, get the funding approved, and then move on to the planning phase. Now, So now once we move on to the planning phase, the planning phase, as it says, identify all technical and system requirement to meet business requirements, finalize schedule, budget and resource requirements. So when we come to the planning phase, we need to make sure that we have all the requirement ready, all the technical resources or the business resources ready in terms of that, so that we can finalize the schedule. So if we need to reach out to the manager to say that, okay, I need one person from your team to spend 8 hours in a week to work on our project, then we need to get the approval, and according to that, the project manager has to get all these things. So he or she may reach out to you as a business analyst to say that why not you get me all these pieces of information, and then I try to work on the project plan. And he keeps updating the project plan according to it when all these details are provided. Now here he finalizes the project plan to say, okay, this is it. He have received all the resources name, all the requirements. According to that, all the resources have provided the estimate, and he have calculated how much each resource will cost on the project. So he have a final budget, he have a final schedule. Since he have a final budget and the final number of hours, he can easily calculate and make a final schedule because he knows what is the number of hours. So he baselines everything as part of the planning phase, and according to that, he is going to move in the next level. The next level is, again, before he goes for the next level, he is going to get for the funding review. Again, this funding review is important to make a decision. So see what happens before any fund gets released for the project. It's the gate review team who is responsible to make sure the assessment is done properly for all these deliverables, to see there are no hinges, there are no hooks in between. If there is, the project can easily be shut down and the resources will be deallocated. So you don't do, so this is the case where they are the people who are going to evaluate all these things, and based on that going to provide the final decision whether you can proceed. You, meaning the project manager, can proceed with the next level or not. Now let's say we got a go ahead. Now we are in the execution phase. Execution phase is nothing but where exactly we start executing the things. Executing the things in the sense that, okay, you start with the coding, deployment, executing the test case, all these things are part of your execution phase. So we will see a very broader picture of this diagram, what we are seeing it right now, but it's very important to understand the structure of it and how it works. Once execution is done, all the codes are tested by the QA, all the codes are tested by the end users, and the user acceptance testing is performed, everything is done. Then here comes the closing phase. The closing phase is where you are just closing all the details. You are trying to put the project like, okay, lesson learned, then feedback, any improvement needed as part of this project, so that all these documents can be used as an operational asset for the future project. That's what closing means. Any deliverables, the project manager need to make sure all the work which is done, the project management plan is up to date, and all the open items are marked as closed, because now the project have moved to the closing phase. And this is exactly how the project management life cycle works. Any question on this slide?